Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at a tiny home off-grid solar system that we designed and built several years ago. We've upgraded over the years, but we wanted to show you how easy and simple it is to build with very little experience, very little tools, and very little supplies. So the first thing you're obviously going to need is some solar panels. That amount is going to dictate how much you can charge your batteries and what size battery bank you're going to want. So for this purpose, we went with a 200 amp hour battery bank. So we've got about 200 to 300 watts of solar up there. Should be sufficient to charge that. For every 100 amp hours, I'd say a 100 watt panel, no less than a 100 watt panel you should be using to charge that. We have all those coming down here into a series string of bus bars, and then it's fed out into an 8-gauge wire here to support the amperage, and then it goes into the house down there. We'll go inside and take a look at it. All right, that 8-gauge wire makes its way into the house, and the first stop on the positive side is a 40 amp fuse. That is so if there is a solar flare-up on the panels or something happens and it's over 40 watts, this will trip and break the power. From here, we go into a meter so we can see how much solar we're getting in, how much power the battery has, what's charging and all that. From there, the solar panels go into our charge controller. This is a PWM charge controller. You can get an MPPT charge controller, but since this is a smaller off-grid system, we decided to go with PWM. Works just fine. From that, we're going to come down into the battery, which is a 200 amp hour battery here, which is also going into a 30 amp fuse. That charge controller is a 30 amp charge controller. You want to make sure you have a fuse on the battery side that matches your charge controller, so if it puts out more current, you don't blow something up or burn something down. From this 200 amp hour battery, we are going to a 2000 watt inverter. This is a pure sine wave inverter. So if you notice the trend here, we've got 2000 watts, 200 amp hours, and at least 200 watts of solar. So my rule of thumb is for every 1000 watts of inverter power, you want 100 amp hours of battery. So 200 amp hours, 2000 watts, and we've got over 200 watts on the roof to charge it. So all of this powers an entire tiny home. It powers a heater here. It also powers a VCR and television, a small telephone, a fan, a light, and the air purifier. All that runs, no problem, off of the 2000 watt inverter. We'll get everything fired up and show you how it looks. Right here we have a little door switch so that we can push it when we come in, and that automatically turns the light on for us. So we'll get set up here and show you what the wattage is for the entire house running at once. All right, that's a no load wattage. We're going to start turning things on one by one in the house. That's the air purifier on maximum power there. Drawing down about 38 watts or so. We got the lights on in the house now. About a 2 watt difference, not too bad. We're going to go ahead and turn on the television and everything. Get all that running. Now remember, the phone is charging and all that stuff in the background as well. Alright, we turned everything on. The wattage should start bumping up here. Alright, so that's basically everything on but the heaviest load. We're about to put the heater on low and see what it does. You see we're already pulling down about half of the inverter's power. No fans on, nothing yet from the inverter, nice and quiet. No issues at all yet. We know how to bump this heater up to high. Now this is everything in the tiny home running at maximum power. See there, we're pulling down about 1,500 watts now. And it's doing really well. I'm gonna bring it out here to show you guys. So we're drawing in about 100 watts right now. It's in the evening, it's getting towards 4 o'clock, a little after 4, so it's to be expected. We're charging up here, as you can see. The television, everything's on, no issues at all. Everything's running just fine. The heater's running fine in here. And there we have 1,500 watts, no issues at 117 volts. It says 12.1 on the battery. No fan yet. So everything's running phenomenal. All right, so you see in there, we drew down about 1,500 watts, no problem. That's going to pull down roughly around 130 or 40 amps out of the battery through these wires here. These wires are a bit small, so I recommend if you're going to run the full 2,000 watts, you probably want to go with some 4-gauge wire. This is the wire that was included. It's 2 8-gauge wires, so I'm assuming they thought I was going to make a 4-gauge, but they get hot. Not hot enough to make me worried yet, but you might want to go bigger, and we're probably going to go bigger anyways, and that also helps with the inverter. But yeah, overall, this little setup here does wonderful, and 2,000 watts will take care of most of your needs, as you see there. This heater is a huge, huge load on this inverter and this battery. At 2,000 watts, you figure a microwave only pulls down about 1,500 watts or so. So this is going to run a microwave. It's going to do everything you need it to do. So if you guys have any questions, drop a comment and we'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.